I'm Antoanetta, welcome to my channel. This is my favorite spot in Valencia out of 20 more. Today, I want to take you on a walk through 5 different neighborhoods in Valencia and show you the different face each one of them has and what it adds to the character of Valencia. I lived and worked in Los Angeles for 20 years. I created jewelry for A-list celebrities, and now I welcome you to join me as I explore the world. Do you see the rainbow? There it is, right there. So I will take the walk through the park, and by the way, there are 18 bridges in Turia. I'm not going to show you all of them, just a few, but it's such a great way to walk through the city and explore things while you're walking through a green area. We're in El Carmen. This is the old town of Valencia, and right now I'm at Torres de Serrans, and together with Torres de Quartz makes the oldest medieval parts of the city, which are completely preserved. Walking through these gates makes you feel like you have a time hack. El Carmen is an old part of town with which I have a little bit of a bittersweet relationship, and I don't want to influence your opinion on the city, but there's some things that I'm very fascinated with. How eclectic and preserved this part of town is, and it's definitely very attractive for tourists. I used to live right here when I first came to Valencia, but there were some things that I wasn't happy with, like the streets are a bit too narrow here, and there's always a lot of movement, and especially before the pandemic, all the coffee shops were so full, and every sound reflects into and strongly into our room. I've been here in the summer, and this place gets insanely busy. So if you're here and you're looking for peace and quiet, that's definitely not the place. It used to be a drug dealers part of town and prostitutes, and of course it's changed so much. El Carmen has great museums, great cafes, little galleries, art shops. This is what I'm talking about. This is a street art graffiti shop full with like unique objects. Incredible. It really shows the character of the city, reflected in art, of course. Pretty much every street here in El Carmen, it's covered with graffiti. There is so much everywhere. Oh, and this is the famous cat house. They said there was a lady that used to live here, and they built this. You can see my hand, so the scale of the house, it's really small. But they said they built this in her honor. She had a lot of cats. This is the style of El Carmen. It reminds me a lot, if you're from LA, it's like a mix between Echo Park and Los Feliz, like this kind of grungy area. And the restaurants that are here and the shops also reflect that. They're very experimental, very hip, and quite fun to visit. This is literally one of the most fascinating places for me. Each part of the windows is decorated with dragons, mythical creatures, fornicating men, and just like crazy stuff. I've never seen such a detailed message through art out of stone. I just crossed the park over to the other side, and now I'm walking through one of the districts of Valencia, Quatre Carreres. which has 7 neighborhoods. I'll show you just one. It's called Penya-Roja. It's right on the other side of Turia Gardens, and it's overlooking the Science Center. So we walked from around here. That's the bridge with the flowers. And now we are right here. And I'll show you this neighborhood that is on this side. Now that we're away from the classical and ornate architecture of Old Town, we're moving into a way more modern area of the city, starting with the buildings behind me, the Arts and Science Center, designed by Santiago Calatrava. And you can watch my other video, my first video about Valencia, where I talk a little bit more about his architectural style. So now let's go and discover some modern architecture. Years ago, before year 2000, this neighborhood didn't have much to offer. It was pretty much land, and people started buying off-plan properties and apartments. And even though they got these apartments, they didn't really move in until later because everything was empty. It wasn't really like the feel of Valencia with coffees and restaurants, but slowly it started getting populated. And now with the Aqua Mall, which is a pretty decent mall, a lot of stores and restaurants started opening, and now many families are moving in. The buildings are very modern. Most of them have spectacular views because they're pretty tall for the city, and they have parking spaces and garage, which makes it very easy to park and just commute anywhere you want to go. And most of them have gyms at the building and some community pools. Like, that makes it really attractive. It's great for families, young families, and arts and sciences. It's right there behind me. So you just cross this street and you're into the park. You have these modern apartments behind me. Most of them are brand new, everything's renovated, and you have all the amenities. I come from the States, so I was so used to having a washer and a dryer, and also just garbage disposal. And so yeah, if you like a little more of a modern lifestyle, of course you have to sacrifice the beautiful interiors that you can get in Rusafa or in El Carmen, with very high ceilings, high windows, gorgeous interiors that just come with the building that it's probably 1,000 years old. And here, if you like modern, this is the place to be. It's very convenient. It's also interesting in its own way. Just depends on your preferences where you'd like to live.